This is a Modern Man podcast. I'm your host, JD Farrell. And on this episode of a Modern Man podcast, I talk with my friend Stephen Meriwether as we do episode 1 of our recap of season 1, Fargo, available on FX and Hulu. What's up, Stephen?
What's up, homie?
How you doing, man?
Good, how are you?
Good.
All right, Lester, let's do this.
Oh, fuck you. All right. Got my tea
Hey.
going. Nice and
Better to be Lester than Pearl.
I'm not good with names. I don't even know who the hell Pearl is. I didn't know Game of Thrones names till season 10, okay?
I got Lauren Malvo. That's
No
Billy
idea.
Bob. That's Billy Bob. Oh, he's like the second main character.
Bro, when do they say their names?
There's Lester.
Okay, I know
Nygaard.
Lester. They say Lester's name all the time.
There's
Okay.
Pearl, his wife.
Oh, but how often did they say the wife's name? Okay.
I knew the wife's name. I didn't have to look that up. There's Chaz, which I didn't know, but Chaz is his brother.
But
Sometimes I tell people you're dead. That motherfucker. There's
Like-
Officer Molly. There's the
Officer
cute
Molly.
little Minnesotan girl.
Love Molly. Love me some Molly.
There's Chief Thurman.
Yeah, there was.
And what's the guy's name that died?
Oh,
Something
Sam. Sam Heston.
Sam Hess.
See, I know him. I know Sam. Okay, Steven. So, first episode of Fargo, season 1. Your thoughts. Give me the initial thoughts you had on it.
My initial thoughts. My favorite line from the episode was, "You're gonna hit me? That's a laugh." Famous last words. Famous last words from Pearl. No longer with us. R.I.P.
Oh man, I gotta say, since probably Game of Thrones, and I think it even beats Game of Thrones, that was probably the most intense first episode I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was definitely intense. I want to know, Lester. So Lester's a life insurance salesman.
Yeah.
He definitely has life insurance out on Pearl.
Yeah.
Is he gonna try to collect?
Wow, they
Is the man
did,
gonna become rich?
I know. They didn't even touch on that part.
Hey, see episode 2.
I'm a little kind of shaken on just in general how he didn't even really get too much investigated. Just because he had a little knock on his face, they think he's all good to go.
Yeah, I mean, credit to him though. Like, if you're gonna live a life of being clumsy and sort of being someone that people make fun of, you can use that to your advantage to get away with stuff, and he is. I worry that he's clearly trying to pin these two murders on Lauren Malvo, who is clearly a hitman. I wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of a hitman. And like, Lester seems like a very nice guy. You know, he has a nice Minnesotan accent, but you know, he's not gonna be able to stand up to Mr. Malvo.
I want to go back. Going back, shows with accents. Because when I remember hearing it was, but I'm like, with actors, it's in and out of the accent, and then it's like too much of the accent. Like, what are your thoughts?
I think it was a little too much of the accent.
Yeah,
I understand you want to set the scene. They're in Minnesota. They're nice people, but like, come on.
They're all like, kind of like leprechauns of the Midwest.
It was the first time I heard it. I thought it was cute, but then it was, come on, like,
Yeah.
let's just get on with it.
Because the thing is about the actors, once they commit to it, the second you hear them without it, it all seems so fake. And that's why I'm like, you know, you have to tote the line. You got to tote the line.
You do got to tote the line. They went a little overboard, but yeah.
I didn't know it was depicted on real events. So
I didn't know that either. I have not seen the movie Fargo.
I didn't either. I know it was older.
I'm pretty sure that the TV series is based on a movie called Fargo.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking after the first season, we do a special movie Fargo episode to recap the movie.
Oh yeah, I'm down. Yeah. I feel like nowadays shows are always better because they just go a little more deeper.
So much better.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm definitely down for that.
I didn't know it was based on true events either.
The whole Sam Hess, I was like, I didn't like how they set him up to be like the prototypical best antagonist. Like, he's a little racist. He's a bully.
Why does he have to be racist? Like, you can be a bully, Why does he have to be racist?
Thank you. Like they're just set, like let's make this guy as bad as he can be. Like throw in the
Yeah.
racism with an
He
all
he
white.
he he like has relations with Lester's
Yeah.
wife. He's a racist. His sons are whatever. Come on, like there's a little overboard. You
Yeah.
can be a bully. You can be working with the mob, but you can appreciate people for who they are. You
Yeah.
don't also have to be a racist.
I know. And just, I get you
agree.
can work with the mob, do all those things. Are people still like 45, 50-year-old bullies to like the guy? I guess that's a small town thing, maybe.
I don't. Maybe. Also, to that same vein, like Lester's last name is Nygaard. At 50 years old, are you still trying to pull a racist joke?
That's. I was like, he's a black guy. I was like, yeah. I was like, what's happening here? Like, it's like, no.
Also, can we talk about how when Sam's oldest son found out that he wasn't going to get any of the inheritance, he was legit going to kill his brother. Like, who does that?
Oh man!
Legit took him outside to beat him just for some money. Like, I understand. I understand you're upset, but you're gonna kill him, and then you get tackled. Officer Molly is a linebacker.
Hey,
former life apparently.
Star of the show, right there, baby. Star of the show. But I mean, is he that stupid that he just thinks the mom's not getting any of the money? He's just like, all right, let me take care of this. Like,
Yes.
I guess that. Yeah.
I think he is. Yes.
All right. So.
All right. Let's take a step back and let's just tell the people what happened.
Okay.
In case they haven't seen. So let's start from the beginning. A quick run through of the events.
All right. All right. You can lead it off. You know I'm a talk in circles. So.
Okay. So the show starts and we see Lauren Malvo, who's played by Billy Bob Thornton, in a car, and he runs into a deer in the middle of winter in Minnesota. They crash outside of the road. Malvo gets up and he sort of escapes the scene. We see someone is in his trunk. That person, because of the crash, is able to get out of the trunk. He's not wearing any clothes, and he walks off. That's how the show opens up. The next scene is in the morning. We see Officer Molly and Chief Thurman at the scene. They find the man in the trunk frozen on the side of the road. And
no, he was a little further in the forest. He walked a little bit.
Further in the forest. He walked a little bit. No clothes. Minnesota winter. They were talking about it being negative 10 degrees outside, frozen.
Yeah.
I don't know how it feels like to freeze to death, but I don't even want to.
Yeah, I don't want to go through it. I'm down.
It's 27 degrees outside in New York City. And it's cold right now. So, then we get introduced to Lester Nygaard, played by Martin Freeman, who is just this unassuming life insurance salesman. Side note, he sells whole life insurance. I recommend you don't go for whole life insurance. You stay for term life insurance, 15 to 30-year term insurance. That's where it's at.
All right.
Whole life is a scam.
All right, plug.
So, plug. Policy Genius. No, don't use Policy Genius. So, Sam Hess is working for the mob. Lester Nygaard is a scam selling bad life insurance. Like, I don't.
He's a scam.
I don't know. Like, I think it's foreboding. Lester, you can tell, has some problems with his wife, Pearl. Pearl calls him out. Do you remember that?
Which time? Okay, that one. I'm like, how could he dare? I know he didn't really have many balls per se, but. You mean when she was saying I should have married your brother?
So she just says that nonchalantly.
Yeah.
At the breakfast table eating, and he's like, I should have married your brother. Ha ha ha. What? You're going to say that to your husband's face?
By the way, before we get too deep into it, I know this is a little off track, but was it breakfast or did he have time to go all the way home for lunch? Because they were eating tomato soup and grilled cheese. So I know it's cold outside.
It is soup.
Yeah, so I'm like, is that what you eat in a Minnesota breakfast for winter?
I've never been opposed to eating leftovers for breakfast, so I support that.
Okay, all right. Back to the wife ripping into him.
Not only does she say that I should have married your brother, But then as he's walking out, she's like, maybe you dress a little nicer, and you can sell some more life insurance. And he's like, what do you mean? You bought me this clothes. And she was like, well, if you sold more life insurance, I would have bought you better clothes.
Oh man,
Come on.
I saw that. I was like, girl, you just at home. You can't even be like, let me pick out my man a better tie. So he's like, no, it's your job to sell more, so you get a better tie.
And again, it's, I understand if you have marital issues and you're not in love with your husband anymore, but you don't got to treat him like that. You don't got to be mean to the man. Like, poor Lester's a nice guy. He sells whole life insurance, so we'll give him a pass on that. But like, he's a nice guy.
Oh,
We see him. He goes to work. He listens to his wife. He's trying to do right. He's trying to put on a smile and really sell the policy, and he does that by talking to this young couple who's about to have a baby, and he tells them how all the ways that they're gonna die, and so that they should get life insurance in case they die. Do you remember that scene?
yeah.
And they
I
just walk out frightened.
definitely didn't think that was a great sales technique, but I didn't think it was a scare tactic either. Like,
No, no, it clearly didn't work for him.
yeah. I mean, I've never sold insurance, but I definitely would more look at the perks of having it rather than the gloom and doom, you know.
Yeah. And then, next scene, he's outside, just taking a break. Maybe
Yeah.
he coming back from something. Maybe come back from lunch.
I forgot, yeah, he went somewhere.
And then he runs into Sam Hess and his two kids, who also later he's talking about this encounter, and he says he was outnumbered 3-1.
But they were big kids. He does admit they were kids.
The
Like,
kids were big for their age, though.
and like, were the kids really gonna fight him? Like,
That was funny.
Ugh.
And then we get into Sam Hess being not only a mobster, but he being racist, and he being a bully. And 25 years later, or however, 18 years later, 20 years later, he's married. He has 2 kids. He goes to the strip club and sleeps with prostitutes. Yet he's
Wait.
still talking about
We forgot
how his wife, he had relations with this man's wife 20 years ago. So, Lester's talking to Sam Hess. Sam is threatening to beat him up. And can we talk about how Lester is just so afraid that Sam just moves his hand towards his face, and he jumps so far that he rams the window behind him and breaks his nose.
astonishing. Like,
I feel bad for that man.
to live that life, that's just like, damn.
Yeah, to live that life when your brother is the VP of sales, and I guess he's part of the Minnesota militia with his machine gun that he has.
Oh,
The
that
piglet.
you didn't have flashback to Texas right there. It gave you some, like, I was like, oh wow, all right.
Yeah, but also, like, if the piglet is so expensive and so heavy duty, shouldn't it be able to survive one drop?
Yeah, I don't know how it just breaks.
You can't drop a gun. I don't know. I've never held a machine gun, so I can't tell you.
But can I say, I like the brother. I don't know if, I mean, he's not a bad guy. He's just living his life. He's like, my son has the autism. In 2006, autism wasn't huge. Like,
My son has the autism.
he's trying to address it, you know? He's like, he's not saying my kid's a freak. He's just like, he has the autism. Like, you know, he's a Minnesota.
I agree with Lester that he was getting a little too comfortable with that ham.
Oh, well, that was just weird, yeah. But he saw it on Rachel Ray.
I think that, in Minnesota, in a small town in Minnesota, you don't get a gun like that without rubbing with some bad people.
Oh, yeah, I think brother is probably involved in the whole mob ring.
I agree. So I don't think brother's such a good person. And whether it's 2006 or not, I'm going to say it right now. We're canceling the brother. You don't say your son has the autism. He's canceled.
What? What?
2020, he's canceled. He's done.
Yeah.
We're canceling him. I'm gonna write into the show. You just can't do that.
He has autism. He just is a little.
Sure, you can say that my son has autism, but the disgust in his face. He says the autism. I'm not a big fan.
I didn't see disgust. I felt he didn't understand it. He was saying he has it, and we're trying to work on it. We took him to a like. I felt like the brothers trying.
We'll see.
All right.
It's mob money. We'll see.
It's
We'll see
mob money.
how far mob money goes.
Any thoughts on the brother's wife? She didn't really say much.
No, she didn't really say much.
Yeah.
Other than, how would you respond if you're out with your sister-in-law and she says that she'd rather marry your husband?
Oh, did she say that to the?
She said that to her, Chez's wife.
Well, Pearl needs
they
to
were
die.
out.
That's what they set it up perfectly. Pearl was just a little.
Pearl was again famous last words. You're gonna hit me. That's a laugh.
Bong. And then he got into
There was
it.
a delay. There was like a 2-second delay where she just stood
Stare.
there, and then
he's,
blood comes
he's
running
like,
down.
oh damn it! I just hit this bitch. No.
And then I thought, that's you can't kill people obviously, but I thought there was some remorse, like the situation just got the better of him, like he's gonna like call the police, he was gonna like turn himself in or whatever. No, he just
Yeah.
10 more times.
I was like, there was no remorse. He hopped on there and got excited.
Yeah, like something clicked in him, and he is no longer Lester Nygaard. He's somebody else.
Oh.
So after he breaks his nose, he runs into Lauren Malvo at the hospital, and that's what sort of starts the whole series, really.
Yeah.
And he says one of my favorite lines too. He says, "You spend your whole life thinking there are rules, but there aren't." I love that.
I mean, I like it too. I mean, we all just have to live by our own set of rules, I should say.
I love that. I think how I want to interpret that in my life isn't to go kill people.
Yeah.
So Lester took that a little bit differently. How do you feel about? Before the scene ends, Lauren's talking to Lester, and he says, "Do you want me to kill him? Yes or no?" And Lester doesn't end up saying anything. And later on, Lester's like, "Why'd you kill the man?" And Lauren was like, "Well, you didn't say no."
I thought it was almost implied yes when the lady was like, "This is your last time," and he was like, "Do you want me to kill him?" It was just kind of like, "Yes, yes," and he just kind of, "All right, wants me to."
Right. Neither of us are lawyers, but do you think that holds up in court?
No.
Do you remember that scene
Yeah.
where Lester was like, "Well, I didn't say yes," and he was and Malvo was like, "Well, you didn't say no," and he was like, "Well, that's not going to stand in court." And Malvo's like, "Get out of here! Get out of here!"
All right. What happens after the hospital scene then?
So after the hospital, Malvo starts staking out Sam Hess. We get introduced to Malvo's boss at Rundle Realty.
Oh yeah.
There's Rundle Realty. The guy had 5 or 6 phones buzzing off the hook. Malvo gets assigned a new case in another part of Minnesota. He says he needs to finish up some personal business. He stakes out Hess, stalks him to the strip club, and then while he's in the back on the bed, sticks a knife through his head.
Love it. Stripper just going crazy, screaming. Oh god. Oh.
I didn't think he needed to bring the stripper into this.
I mean,
like that's pretty traumatic.
She's a stripper. No offense to sex workers out there, okay? I support you in what you do.
Sex work is work.
Yeah. But your
No. Okay, sorry, go ahead. I'll let you finish.
I'm just saying, if I'm constantly on the daily having a bunch of older men having to see me, grub me, touch me, fuck me, I think maybe one dying on me isn't too traumatic.
Oh, I completely disagree. Someone's not just dying on you, but they're literally spilling blood on you.
Would blood on you or semen in the face? I'm sorry, they're both traumatic in my head. But
Okay, okay.
I met you
Well,
10 minutes ago and then I gave you a hand job and now it's all over my body. Like, I don't think that's
agree to disagree. I don't want someone's blood on me. There's AIDS. There's all sorts of stuff that could happen.
You get AIDS from semen, man. It's just a different color and a different texture.
I just don't want blood on me. That's where I draw.
That is a tough. I need leave a comment. Would you rather have blood or semen on you? Okay, because
Oof.
that's a tough one. We might go to Instagram for that poll.
Also, I wonder. He stuck a knife in his skull. It seems to me you need quite the force to do that. I don't know. I don't know if I could. Like, I don't know if I'm physically strong enough to do that. But
That's a good point.
I've never tried, and I don't plan on trying.
I think just him being a hitman, he knows that like pressure point and like the
He
back
doesn't
of
know
your,
pressure points.
you know what I mean, just
talked
where
about
it's
it, yeah.
soft to get up through, and he just knew right there.
Yeah.
And just, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. So so Sam is dead. Lester kills his wife. There's two murders in this small town in Minnesota. Officer Thurman comes to, and they're investigating the death of Sam Hess. Lester was talking to Malveaux at the hospital. Someone says they saw them talking to each other. So Lester comes to Lester's house to Officer Thurman comes to Lester's house to just talk to him and see what happened at the hospital. And he sees blood dripping. He sees some sort of blood drops coming up from the basement where Lester's wife Pearl is dead, laying dead. And so I thought Lester was about to be taken in.
Oh yeah.
You know, Officer Thurman had his gun out. He told Lester to drop to the ground. Lester clearly is lying. Like, I just got here. I don't know what happened. Meanwhile, don't go down there. I don't know what's down there. Don't go down there. But I just got here. So, poor Lester. He's obviously not a hitman.
Wait, you kind of skipped. It wasn't too important, but it was kind of like delusional. Lester, after that, got the 2-barrel shotgun and was trying to kill old Billy Bob.
He was. That's true. That's true.
For a split second there, he thought he could.
He practiced his routine. He was going to open the door, look real mean, and have a shotgun.
And kill a hitman. That he called over and was just going to walk up to the front. Yeah. But, sorry, back to Officer Thurman on the stairs. Yeah.
Officer Thurman's about to arrest Lester, and then you see Malveaux, hitman, with said shotgun, shoot Officer Thurman a couple times. Yeah, that was a sad one for me to see. Officer Thurman seemed like a good guy. He had a pregnant wife. He was about to have a baby. That he was going to go home. He had some paint in the back of his car to paint the nursery in their home. That one's sad.
I'll tell you, I didn't know it was going to be first episode, but I remember as soon as I saw the wife eating the chocolate ice cream and talking about eggshell white, I knew he was going to die. Because she was like, it's real for me. She's like, yeah, the baby's finally real, even though she's like 8 months pregnant. And he's like, all right, there's this kind of white, there's this kind of white. I'm like, oh, he's going to die. Like, he's so in that moment.
It is like Game of Thrones. As soon as you get attached to a character, they're dead.
Yeah. And I used to think maybe it's the famous characters that are going to live in this show. And then I'm like, I have no idea now.
Yeah, so poor Officer Thurman's dead. Sam Hess is dead. Police, back up or come into the scene. There's going to be 2 people dead. The only person, Billy Bob Malveaux, disappears somehow. The only person there is Lester, and he looks up at the poster in his basement, and it says, I forget exactly what it says, but maybe if it says something along the lines of, maybe everyone else is wrong and you're right.
Yeah.
And I thought at that moment, maybe he finally feels remorse and he finally is gonna turn himself in and help the police catch Sam Hess, and turn his life around. And he had this outburst and it was terrible, and he would spend some jail time and turn his life around. But no, he runs into the wall to knock himself out. So it looks like he was a part of the crime scene.
The man has grit. I love it. Yeah.
Hey, I mean, if the goal is to stay alive and not get thrown in jail, that's about the best way to do it. So, more power to him there.
I gotta say, overall, everyone was cast perfectly. The only thing they could have done perfectly or differently is maybe he's not serious enough, but I think he was the perfect like leech and parasite. Do you remember John Cryer from 2.5 Men, the stepbrother?
No.
Or the brother? He's the mooch to Charlie, the main guy, the whole time, and he's just like that leech, that parasite who just sucks all the life out of everyone. He's the only one I think could have maybe played Lester a little bit better.
Huh.
Because he's that just like kind of pipsqueaky.
I think Martin Freeman is, at least I'm one episode in, but I think he's done a really good job.
Oh yeah, he's great. Yeah.
I think he's great. Yeah.
I see John Cryer as that character.
Yeah,
so I was
that's fair.
just yeah.
So the end of episode 1, Malvo's on the run, off to his next hit job. Lester wakes up in the hospital. His wife is dead, who he killed. Officer Thurman's dead, and we'll see what happens in episode 2.
All right. What are you most looking forward to kind of finding out what happens next?
I'm interested to know if Lester is a suspect, if they're immediately going to treat him as a suspect, or they're going to treat him as a victim.
Okay. All right.
Also, Pearl's insurance policy. Is he going to try to cash that out?
And run. I'd say my biggest thing, I don't know if you saw it, was the ricochet of the shotgun.
Yeah.
And Lester's hand. And it keeps being, it's like a thing. So I'm wondering, is that going to be a piece to the whole puzzle?
Right, yeah. We see at the very end of the episode, he looks at his hand and sort of wonders if that ricochet is going to have any meaning. I don't know. I would think that it was a fight. There was a guy who came in trying to rob them. Like you can spin the story such that you have a ricochet and you are still a victim. So I'm curious to see how that plays into it too.
Okay. All right. Can't wait for next week when we do episodes 2 and 3 with you. All right.
Episodes 2 and 3. Yep.
2 and 3. Good talk, Stephen. All right. I'll see you next time.
I'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.